I'm going to do my best to talk about ethically sourced crystals and how we make sure things are ethically sourced. So there's a couple of things that I think are really important off the bat. Number one, if you're really determined to get your hands on ethically sourced material and that's the direction you want your business to go in, or if that's what you want for your collection, then there's a couple of things you can kind of do to procure that. So the first thing is with your sourcing. So if you are a retail client, let's just say, and you're purchasing from a shop or something like that, that's going to be a little more tough because you need to actually find out where that person got their stuff from. And that's going to be kind of difficult because most retailers don't want to, tell you who their suppliers are. But I can tell you, easier way is on the whole side. It's a wholesale side. So if you are trying to buy wholesale, then there's a couple of things. Number one, what we're hearing all the time is I own a mine. I have a mine. I'm in the mines. I got the mines. I'm manufacturing. There's a lot of that talk going on, and 99% of it is not true. So if somebody has the time and the effort and the energy to show you pictures of them in the mines or of their operation with them in it, then that'll be a great indication that someone is actually telling you the truth. So I would challenge your suppliers to produce images or videos of them actually at the mines themselves and not just pictures somebody sent them. So that's really important. And, I can show you pictures of me in the mines and me in my manufacturing and all of these things. So that's something that I challenge people to do if they own a mine. So you own a mine, but you've never taken a picture of yourself in there. I don't know. It just doesn't make a lot of sense to me. Also, I think that just creates tremendous amounts of credibility. So if someone's telling you they own a mine or they go to the mines, whatever it is, okay, show me pictures of you in the mines. What someone could also do easily, by the way, is just take a picture of themselves in something that's not a mine. So what I've done is I've taken pictures of myself next to the actual minerals that are being mined, or I'll take video of myself in the manufacturing plants myself so that you can actually see that I'm there, I'm checking, I'm sourcing, I'm making sure everything is done right. That's number one. Number two, and again, I don't want to get into naming names or getting specific with anything, but a lot of what we're seeing coming from overseas has got to be challenged. In particular, the Chinese wholesalers, Indonesian wholesalers, Pakistani wholesalers. If you're going to make your purchases from these dealers, you need something, not just like, oh, I asked them and they said everything was good. That's not enough. And if that's good enough for you, it's not good enough for your clients. So you can't go and tell your clients that you're ethically sourcing and everything is fair trade if you're not 100% sure about it. Just because you asked somebody in China if their stuff is ethically sourced, and they're like, yes, of course it's ethically sourced. Probably bullshit. Again, I know from experience, I'm not just saying this for any other reason than I know the process. I know what goes on. Let's just say you're on Instagram and you've been already contacted by 1,000 dealers from China, Indonesia, Pakistan, whatever it may be. These people contacting you are not the actual manufacturers. The manufacturers are focused on manufacturing. And these people are just either one, taking pictures of the manufacturing and then showing it to you and presenting it as their own business, which it's not. They just essentially work for those businesses as an agent. So especially in Pakistan, this happens a lot. So if people contact you from Pakistan or Afghanistan, that's the way it works over there. You have like the big people who sell rocks over there, and then you have everyone else who represents them as an agent, and these are the people that are contacting you on Instagram. So you have to get through many channels in order to actually get to the sourcing there. As far as the Chinese wholesaling goes, so again, I'm not getting specific, but number one, if you've been following my page or you're in my live sales, number one, you see them, they all come into my live sales and they try to poach my clients. So that's number one. It tells you right off the back that these people are not, are willing to do things the wrong way. Because that's not right. You don't go into someone's business and that'd be like you have a crystal shop and another crystal shop owner comes into your shop and starts trying to steal your clients that are in your shop shopping. It's the same thing. So what kind of person does that? That's the first question you should ask yourself. Okay, so these people are willing to go and poach other clients and steal other clients from other businesses. That's a great indication right there off the bat. Number two, pricing is a huge indicator. A lot of the times I'm seeing things and I'm like, it's impossible to produce that ethically or fair trade. It's impossible because the rough material costs almost as much as you are selling the finished product for. So there's something really wrong with that. And to be graphic, I'm going to get graphic for a minute. So if you don't want to hear the ins and outs of the industry and how these things are done, then I suggest you turn off this video. So number one, child slave labor. Typically, what happens is orphanages are overran. There's just 200 kids in an orphanage. They can only afford to feed 50 kids. Mr. Whoever's workshop comes along, says, "Hey, I'll take 100 kids. I'll take care of them." Great, done here because I can't even feed the kids myself. So now we have a workshop or a slave shop or a sweatshop, whatever you want to call it, operating with children. The thing is that children are not super cheap to take care of, because in order for the child to work hard, you have to actually take care of the child to some degree. They can't be malnourished and they can't be sick. So you have to feed them well, and you also have to take care of them medically. And what happens when one kid gets sick? All the kids get sick. So it's not super cheap to take care of kids, children, especially we're talking about kids from 5 to 12 years old. So in order to offset the costs of taking care of these kids, a lot of the practices out there revolve around renting out the children to brothels. So not only are the children slaves in workshops and factories, they're also sex slaves as well, against their will. They're rented out to brothels, and the brothels pay good money for these kids, and they just give them back. It's so disgusting and it's so evil. Again, I've tried my best to make people aware of this, but there's only so much I can do before I'm just like exhausted from trying to get people to understand this stuff. Eventually, they find a better way to do it, which is, let's go into impoverished neighborhoods. So they go into impoverished neighborhoods. They take a bunch of people who are desperate, who can't feed their children, single mothers, just down people at the bottom of the barrel, and they create these little villages where the people live in shit in buckets and eat scraps of food and make $2 a day. This is the thing to understand, that like when you're getting your cheap crystals and you're buying all these cheap crystals and someone's giving you baskets full of crystals, and they don't like you either. And I'm sorry, I'm going to say this, I don't care. What do you think they think about you? What do you think these people think about the Americans? You think they're sitting there like, "Oh, I love Americans, they're so amazing." No, they're talking so much shit about you too. And most of the crystals are stolen, by the way, which that's a whole nother story. They go to the mines, they make an agreement with the miners forward the material to the ship, and guess what? They never get paid. That's a long story. But the material's stolen, it's made by slaves, and then it's sold to you by people who don't even like you. What kind of energy is going into these stones? Again, if you don't care, you're just like, "Hey, I just want cheap rocks," great. But I haven't really seen people be super successful with this material. Maybe you sell some of it, but success, no. I haven't seen someone successful with anybody who's selling Chinese manufactured material, or like Pakistani manufactured material, Indonesian stuff. They don't do super well. They do okay maybe, but I'm not talking. You're not killing it out there. And if you are, you have to also understand that, like, are you okay with the way you got there? Are you okay with the idea that your livelihood is based off the suffering of children and families that can't afford to live? That's the question. It's extremely important to me. It's what I'm doing in this business. It's my whole goal. The disinformation that's out there is insane, and I don't know what else I can do to combat it. I wish that it was just more in front of people's faces, because you have these wholesalers that are doing 24/7 lives. You can't support these people. Keep the business in the States. Let's do some of the stuff in the States. Let's support each other in the States. Not only that, you find someone like me, I give a large percentage of my earnings to nonprofits, to charities, to people in need. And I'm not looking for a pat on the back. I don't think that it's something like good that I'm doing. Again, it's just, that's something you want. Like, if it was me, that's what I want to be. I want to be behind ethically sourced, fair trade, good, clean material that was made by grown ass people. And at the same time, the people who are selling you the material are also doing good with the money that they're getting from it.